In order to be replaceable, one must always be different. On this court, I welcome everyone to the day one of the C Bootcamp, organized by the Creators Garage with the motto of Team. Together, everyone achieves more. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Muneesh. He has command in various programming and scripting languages. Today we are going to cover basics of C, which includes constant and variables, keywords, functions, printf and scanf, data types, and conversions, along with the operators and comments. We will be taking up the questions in the last 10 minutes of the session. You are advised to share the full screen to ensure the smooth flow of the session. You are requested to fill the feedback form and attempt the quiz in order to receive the completion certificate. You all will be provided with the notes and the study material at the end of the session. You are also advised to read rules and regulations mentioned in the chat box. Please maintain the decorum. Any kind of wrong behavior will not be tolerated, and the person committing it will be no longer part of the boot camp. So please take over and teach us. Happy learning, everyone.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Just give me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, you're visible.
Okay. Good evening, good evening, everybody. I hope you are all doing great at your end. So let's go. So topic of the day. So in today's bootcamp, topic will be what is C, what are the constants and variable in C, what are the keywords, what is printf and scanf and how they works, and what is chart type and operators. So let's start with what is C. So as you all know, C is a high-level language and general-purpose language, and that is ideal for developing framework or portable application, such as any software which need to work on a Windows operating system. You can write through a C or any other programming language, but preferable C because it is because C because C has run faster and basically it has limited memory. So limited memory means like it can run in limited memory and can run very fast as compared to other language. So where these C language used openly in Windows, Linux, and any other operating system. Drivers are written in C in today's date also. Then embedded system has really use of C in the long run, and even using it right now because it runs faster and it can run in limited memory as compared to other languages which require some external memory, but C doesn't require that much. So, what is the basic structure of a C program? All C programs have to follow basic structure. So let's discuss that. C program starts with the main function and execute every instruction present inside it and terminates when main function ends. And each instruction terminates with a semicolon. Only loop instructions are not ended with semicolon. Instructions are case sensitive and instructions are executed in the same order which they are written. So let's take an example. Let's take a look. So you can see this is the main structure type. So first we have to declare library, which basically because of this library this function works because stdio is used to
Sir, your
print.
voice is breaking, sir.
Sorry, what?
Sir, your voice is breaking, not clear. It is coming not clear. Last time.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the basic structure. So let's take a look at this program. So here I have declared the library. So in this library, so what this library do? So this library is used for input and output. So if I want to print anything, I have to include this library and for input as well. Then we have main function. So what this main function have? This main function have three things. First, data type. So data type it has int. So if I'm using int main, so it has to return anything uh, to the compiler so that it can compiler can determine that function has ended or not. If I am using void, so what void do that we don't have to return the return statement. So without return statement, it automatically gives 0 to compiler. So there are two types of basically you can say declaration of int and main. Can you see or I have to zoom in? Please zoom in a second. You can see right what I'm typing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as I've said, there are three things. First is data type. Then second starts with main and brackets. So main and bracket you are basically declaring a function. Then you have brackets, curly brackets. So curly brackets tells you the body of the main function. Anything after this opening bracket will be executed accordingly. And after closing of curly bracket, it will terminate the program. So from this you can say line, the execution of a program will start. So as you can see here, there is nothing. So it will move to another instruction, which is int a equals to 10. So it will create a variable a and gives 10 to it. Then you have also see you can also see that semicolon is used in both instructions here and here. So this represents that your instruction has been completed. Then I have given return 0, and I've already told you that if you are using int main, you have to give any value to compiler in order to tell it that your program is done. So let's move to another topic. So what is a variable?
Sorry.
So what is a variable? So a variable is a container that stores a value. So let's take a case scenario. So in kitchen, we have a container which stores rice, dal, atta, anything, right? So similar to that, in C, we have variables which store value of a particular data type. That means, for example, you have to store a floor you have to store atta in some container, right? You have to mention that this is a container of atta. Anyone else will put anything inside it, and you can basically run both the items, atta and, for example, let's say dal. If there is a atta container, I can't put dal in it. If I put dal in it, it will ruin both materials, atta and dal. So similar here, if there is a particular type of data type, I can only store that kind of data, or that kind of value in that variable. Here is a syntax, data type, name of the variable. So there is a basically gap here. So let's take an example of this too. So in this, as you can see, basically basic structure, library, main function, and then we have some instructions here. Here you can see I have data type which is int, variable name a, and value 5. So I am creating a variable named a which will store integer value, right? So it can be, so integer value have some some kind of value which you can store. For example, minus 128 to 127. This is the range of value you can store in integer. So here I have stored 5 into a. So right now it has only 5, and you can use this variable in the program for later operations. Then we have character b. char b. So what this tells you that char is a data type for character. So create a variable named b which stores character one character at a time. So here, if I write character char b equals to a, so it will write, sorry, it will save a into a memory address of b. So we have a character, we have a variable b which has a value in store in it. Then we have float f. So similar to int, float value stored that float stores value which is decimal. So if I have to give a value to it, I can write like 5 or I can write 5.5. But in case of int, I can't write 5.5 because it only store values which are not decimals or floating point. You can't store floating point in int. So we have like we can store here in float any integer, any integer, and any float decimal point, and you can say decimal value. Then we have also okay, I have forgot to mention this. The range of float is something like float is 4 bytes, right? So it can save up to 4 to 5 digits, included in which you have decimal, so it has less range. As compared to int, you can store close to 6 to 10 digit data. When I said digit, it has to be like 900000000. So this kind of data I can store in int. But yeah, I think yeah, 6 to 10 digit data you can store in int. Then as you can see the character, so here you can store any alphabet in the English dictionary, or you can say any letter, alphabet, any alphabet of an English word into this variable p. So here I can store A, B, C, D special characters such as your @ hashtag, your dollar, anything. Number भी आप इसमें store कर सकते हो. Point to be noted, it has to be in single quotes whenever you are storing data into it, or in a double quotes or single quotes. Okay, so hope let's move to the next point. So we have seen the data types and how to give assigned values and name a variable. Let's check the rules for naming. So as you can see, first character must be an alphabet or underscore. No numbering are valid. You can write the numbers after the variable, but you can't write number before the variables. No comma or blanks. If you put blanks inside the, let's see, if you put blank, basically if you put space between two variables or a variable, for example, its name is AC, right? So if I it's this, so it create a variable name AC, but if I press space between it, it will creating two characters. It will take as it should have two characters, but second, if it will take as it has two characters, but it doesn't have any separate comma and anything that which tells it that those are two different variables. If you are getting my point. And then is no special symbol other than the underscore is crowded, as such as @ hashtag, percentage, anything like that. Then variable names are case sensitive. As you can see, if I change this name, I can basically you can create two variables named a and ab. But okay, let's take a look. If I run this, oh, sorry, give me a second. Same data type over. So as you can see, it is giving a warning as that basically, uh, yeah, as you can see, it is giving a warning that two data type have a similar name. So for example, here is the C1 and here is C. So it is telling me that two variables have same name. So don't miss it. Basically a warning. You can ignore it. Basically, you know while coding that one is a character and one is a float. But when you see this example, as you can see that a is a lowercase and a uppercase can be two different variables and two different data types. But in case you are using similar names and different data types, it gives you a warning saying that there is another there is okay. This is saying that basically you have another variable. It has similar name. But if you just basically if you I write this C and C, so I'm creating a character C and float C. So it will give me an error saying that both variable name has been same, but data type is different. So it cannot create it, and you have to change it. So this giving an error complete type of C, basically telling me there's a syntax error, telling me to change the name of a variable, change the name of the variable of either of the data types. So let's move to the next slide, which is constant. So constant, you can say that a constant is a constant whose value doesn't change, right? So here you see there is a phase a constant which doesn't change throughout the program. So let's take. So here you can see that constant, basically const हमारा data type, basically const is the keyword for constant. Data type is your data type and name of the variable, whichever name you want to give to your variable. So here is example. So here same block or you can say structure, basic structure. Here we have const int a equals to 5. So here it is assigning value 5 to a integer a, and it cannot be changed. So here if I want to change a equals to 10, I can say a minus 1, and then I say printf, basically printing the value of a and b. So here it's saying error. Why? Because it is a constant type. You can't change value of a constant type. So here it should be according to this statement 4, but since it's a constant, its value cannot be changed throughout the program. Similar, okay. So type of constants. There in that example you have seen 3 types. So let's discuss them. Integer constant, real constant known as float type, or float or sorry, sorry. Real constant you can say as a integer constant. Sorry, integer constant, which is anything which has integer value. Real constant is, or you can say float type constant, which have float values inside it. And character constant, any character which is in single quotes, inverted commas. So here, this is an example of int. So basically 5 is given to a. Here is example of float. Basically this 55.5 value will not change throughout a program. And here is a, which is assigned to b, and this value cannot be changed. Uh, and here you can actually change, here you can have any value. For example, your special characters, star hash, any special character, any digits, any number, or any character, your alphabet or any alphabet. Okay. So next slide. Keywords. So keywords are important. So what are keywords? So keywords are let's you can remember this like that. Keywords are reserved words which have some meaning. So here you can see constant is a reserved word. Constant means constant. Is integer is a reserved word because int means integer. Char is a char is a uh, char is a keyword for character. Float is a keyword for decimal. Printf is a keyword for display. So void is a keyword for data type. So there are a constant, there are valid keywords which are reserved for some specific meaning. More examples are like this. So as I said, long, int, double, and float. These are basic data types, so you can't change them. Else, if, switch, break, anything which basically you can say anything which change color to blue, or your, for example, your printf. Anything that change color than other than light blue in Visual Studio. That means it is reserved and it has some particular meaning for the compiler. Then we have library functions. So as I've already told you, we include this library for running the program. And why is that? Because of these printf and scanf. So let's discuss them. So printf. All output to the screen is achieved using ready-made library function like printf. So if I want to display anything, such as okay, let's just remove this one. So if I want to print anything, it will print value of 5. Value of a equals to 5. If you can see that at the bottom. Let's take this example. Yeah, this will be good, better. Sorry. So here you can see value of A, value of B, and value of C. So there is no value given there. So it's just printing value of C. So for using this and scanf, you have to include this library, that is std.io, which stands for Standard Input and Output Library. Then syntax of printf is like that. You have printf, then bracket open. There you have to write your string, for example, value of a. Then you have to write the format of string. So there are two types of things. So let's talk about that too. So printf. So in the first case scenario, I'm just printing the menu. Alright. So it's printing just menu. In second case scenario, I'm printing a value of of some variable to check what is the store value inside that variable. So in this case, I'm printing a to check what is the value of a. So for that, my syntax change. So what my syntax become is a string, then format of string. Format of string means this part. but sorry, format of variable आना चाहिए actually. Format of variable, कौन सा format का variable है? So int have this format, percentage %d. Your float have percentage %f. Your character have percentage. Because character has percentage %c. But if you are printing a string, so you have to print percentage %s. It is used for strings. So these things you have to understand or keep in mind to display anything on any value on your output screen. So let's take it a look. Here these are printf from real values, or you can say float values, print d for integer values or any real number, any real number or any number. Percentage %c, you have character values. So any alphabet or any digit, any special character or any digit. For example, 1, 2, 3, or any number you can say. You can print it through these formats: printf, sorry, percentage %f, percentage %d, and percentage %c. Then we have scanf. So there are two types of program you generally write. First, you write for first you directly ask from the user what they want to enter, and second, you basically giving some inputs. For example, here they personally giving some values inside the program so that it can run. So scanf is used to basically get value from the user and use that value inside your program. So for example, you can say that if a person want to write, if a person want to write his ID or any his mobile number or anything, you use scanf so that you get that information about that user or any variable. Okay, let's take a case scenario for this too. So let's say I want to create a calculator, right? I want to create a calculator. So for calculator, I need addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication, right? But I don't know what the user wants. So I have to scanf ask the user what kind of operation he wants. So enter your operation. So if a and so what it will do, it will, one second, yeah. So percentage %c. So what it will do, it will ask the user what is the value of c. So I will doing this constant, this value, all right, and then let's printing this here. Give me a second. So let's see this example. Okay. Oh, sorry, my bad. C F. Let's see. Oh, my bad, guys. So here menu is written as this line is. I'm printing menu first, then I'm printing value of a, which is 5 here, value of a, which is 5, Now it is asking for my input. I'm on here. So write your operation. So I've typed +1. So value of C equals to -0, garbage value. Oh, sorry, this is not right. My bad. So for character, which is like +1 and any special character, you have to be a character type, right? Character data type. So I have changed that. This here too. Let's see. Here I'm writing again plus, and you have यहाँ पे value. Okay, is now 20 plus for some reason. Okay, I will check it out. But generally, give you have to write like that. So, for example, if I'm uh, let's not add 5. So, for example, I'm typing a number. I'm type 5. So, value of 5 equals to this. I have to check it. Okay, I have to check it. Something is going wrong. I will confirm it later. Then let's move to the next slide. That is AND operator. So it is the ampersand operator. So what is this is used? Where is this used? We use this here. So what is this tells you? It basically moves you to the memory location of that variable and store that value. So in this case, let's assume that memory address memory address of C is something like 55, right? 55 is memory address of C. So this instruction will move to memory address 55 and will save value which I'm writing. So for example, if I'm giving it 5, so it have a memory address, memory address which will have value 5 in it, 5 in it, and this memory address is 55. So memory address of 55 which have value 5 in it. So this what is ampersand and operator used for. Then we have operators in C. So there are many types of operators. For here you can see your your multiply operator, plus operator. Here you can see your percentage operator. Then here you can see okay minus operator. So there are different type of operators. Here I have written some. Here okay I'm writing another again as minus and divide and percentage, for example, for getting a reminder sorry, your multiplication, then your greater than, less than, and any logical operator, and any operator which you used, for example, and your or operator. So any operator you use is you have any operator in C use, you have some kind of syntax for that, right? So let's discuss for that. Let's discuss that too. Which I don't have in the slide. I guess I'm going to create a new one. Let's take this example. So here I have three variables named P. Simple. Basically, I'm taking an example of a simple interest. So here I have two variables. Principal, number of n, and then the number of year, and then we have r rate, right? From the code our simple interest. So here I'm typing that p equals to 300, basically giving some initial value to principal, number of years, and rate. After that, what I'm doing is applying operations. For example, here I'm multiplying these number and then dividing by 100. So first it will multiply each of these number and then divide and then divide. If I want to basically add this number, first I will add the number, then I multiply. So here the procedure will be, first it will be adding it, then it will multiplying it, then it will divide this sum. You can say कोई भी जो हमारे वैल्यू में निकली है, ये वैल्यू इसको पहले वो मल्टीप्लाई करके फिर डिवाइड करेगा, एंड उसके बाद हमारे पास वो वैल्यू आएगी एस आई के अंदर, राइट। एंड देन एस आई के पास हमारे पास हम उसको प्रिंट कर देंगे प्रिंट एफ से. सो वी विल गेट आवर simple interest, and as it is divided by 100, so it will be on a float type. So I'm printing it as a float type format. So let's say f si, so it will print simple interest and float type. So let's try to run this one too. Okay, it's not clear. Give me 1 second. So here, so what is this doing? Like you have a simple 30 values for our SI. Basically I'm printing SI first. So SI हमारे पास आया 30.15500, because the sum will be around 3000 So your SI will be 30.50. Then I'm printing it in this format. For example, your simple interest, the string plus your number. So your simple interest equals to rupees equals to 30.15. That's how you basically use operators in here. And some operators have more. Okay, some operators have more. You can say purity, right? Purity, right? So those are your and so those are your not operator. The first thing your operator which basically use no, so which have most you can say which will execute first are not operators, then your single and single or, then your plus, minus, and multiply, then divide. After that you will have like your greater than. These logical operators will be executing, and then your and operators, basically जो आपके बेसिकली आपके एंड ऑपरेटर्स हो गए और ऑपरेटर्स हो गए. तो बेसिकली ऐसे चलता है, पहले नोट, देन सिंगल एंड, सिंगल और, देन फिर आपका आता है प्लस, माइनस, मल्टीप्लाई एंड डिवाइड समथिंग. डिवाइड बेसिकली आपकी जो भी मैथमेटिकल होते हैं, देन फिर आपका लॉजिकल आते हैं, देन फिर आपके एंड और ऑपरेटर्स आते हैं. So let's take an example. Let's take another example and create a new file. So here I'm selecting C. So what I'm typing is PC. So here I'm typing library file sGarage. Then I'm going with the int main. Then I'm starting the main function. So I'm creating a menu, right? So let's take a menu, printf. So here I will be writing a menu for your simple interest, or you can say menu for your calculator. So let's say menu for calculator. Alright, calculator. Then we go to again printf. I'm asking for the input, enter the operator, right? Operator. So after getting an operator, so how to get an operator? Here I'm storing it in let's say OP, getting in number one, number two. And guys, while you declare number variables, make sure that they have name which you can check later on. For example, I'm creating a calculator, so I'm getting two numbers from user and operator from user. So I'm typing variable names such as number one, number two, so that I can know or any other person know what my these number one and number two means. So make sure that whenever you are coding to check check it or name correctly. Later that helps you in checking where the error is or why you are not getting an expected output. Then here. So these are variables. Basically your opened. Here are the number which I'm getting from the user. Okay. So after this I'm going to basically okay some for some right. So now I have operator. Now I want to get number one, right? So number one. So for number one, I'm getting scanf number one. Then for number and we have got to understand. And similar case, I'm going to go for number two. Number oh actually never mind. My keyboard. So I have okay. So I have number one, number two, and operator, right? Now I am going to add them, or apply any operation. So first I'm going to type number one, then okay, then I'm going to check if that operator, what is kind of operator is that? So for example, operator is your plus one. Then I'm going to basically sum equals to number one plus number two. Okay. Else if that number is, for example, if that operator is subtractor minus uh, minus, or you can go is sum equals to number one, number two, and बीच में minus. Okay, copy paste. Then again go again with divide. Same case with divide and same case with multiply. Then I can just printf the value of sum, which is basically your integer, so d, and here I'm going to write sum, right? Let's see the output. Morning. Okay, operator I'm collecting plus sum is this number. Okay, this didn't ask me for okay, my bad. So this one is a formula is telling me Move this one. Hmm. Yeah, number 3. ओके कहाँ की है, कहाँ की है चक्कर। number minute is not okay, problem, sum is same. Okay, let's go. Guys, exactly. Interesting method, no format argument. Interesting. Let's check it out. What is it? It's not taking the floor. Yeah, same this at right? Let's have a video. I see. My bad, guys. Yeah, I forget about this one. I thought that this thing have to write word. My bad. What is it? So I have operators plus number 55 and 100. So it's give me one sum of 1555. Okay, 155. So similarly can be run again. So if I type with multiply, so let's say, oh, my bad. Multiply number 66 and multiplying by 2. So what I do is the solution. So as I'm telling you that you can print, you can basically create a menu and then you can get value from the scanf, or you can say user, and then you can use that for other operations such as your mathematical operations, or you can just compare this value from anything. Let's see. And you can basically compare it and you can print it to verify what is the value of that number or that variable. And you can say that which is legal allowed or not. Let's check this out too. So you can basically, these are legal operators. Basically, legal means you can assign values like this: be variable name equals to or any value, then comma variable name equals to any other value. But in case you are defining like that, int equals to z, then semicolon b multiplied by c equals to z. This means basically you are giving z, value of z, to another another two variables, uh, which is not allowed it, because that that z is not inside this in- oh my bad. It is because you have only defined z, and z that has no value, which my bad. This is my bad. This is not working because of the left hand argument. As you can see that equations, or you can say the whole equation b multiplied by c equals to left hand, and your z equals to right hand. So this not work because any operation, or you can say any mathematical operation should be like this. Z जो any variable in which you want to save value should be on left hand, then your variables which you want to add. For example, here we have number one, sum. So sum is the variable in which I want to save my value, right? So sum, then I'm typing number one plus number two. So what it will change into, if you remember our mathematical equations, that it will change to y equals to mx plus mc. This kind of equation, it is changing to this kind of equation where you have x and m, or you can say constant. All right, but if you change into like this, number one plus number two equals to sum, it will not work because the algorithm in which C is written, it is always that any value you want to store should be on the left hand, and any value you are adding or any operation in this which is going to be implemented should be on the right hand. That's how, or you can say right to the equals to, right to equals to. This is how it is. This is why it is legal, and this is why it's not legal. Thank you.
We will be now be taking questions. All those who want to ask, kindly raise your hand and you can ask one by one. Is there anyone? Yes, Nay, you can ask.
Hello, am I audible?
Hello. Any question, guys?
Okay, so you can ask in the chat
Okay.
box. We will answer you up. You are all requested to fill the feedback form and attempt the quiz in order to receive the completion certificate. And I want to thank the speaker for taking out time for us and giving such a deep understanding. I also appreciate all the attendees for being a part of our bootcamp. We are ending the meet now and hope to see you all tomorrow. Please don't forget to fill the feedback form and attempt the quiz.
Okay. Why hadn't we used return statement in this code, like in the last code? So should I explain that? Guys, any question? Can you please retype it so uh, I can understand that that you didn't get it. Concept of address please. So concept of address, you can say whenever you declare a variable, such as I declare sum. So here I'm typing sum one, right? So when I'm create this, when I declare this variable, it will take some memory in RAM, right? So memory in RAM. So memory address of that RAM of sorry, memory address of that variable will be like 55. I'm just assuming, okay, I don't know. It can be anything, right? So let's assume that 55 is the memory address of some one which I just declare. So if I use this some one, so what does this do? What does it mean? So it means that it will move to this memory location. Memory location is 55, and paste anything which is paste the value which is passed through it. So let's assume that I'm writing a scanf command. So here I'm using right, and then percentage sum. So here it will pass any integer value. So I'm giving it a 55. So here 55, not 55. Let's take 10.5. So here it will move to memory location of your sum1, which is basically 55, and oh, 55, and then paste value which is your 150. So this is how the ampersand n works. Basically, it moves to your memory location and paste that value, which is basically passed to it. What is and pipe, right? You want to understand what is this and pipe. So if you want to actually check, you can actually, if you want to actually check what is uh, okay. In simple terms, it is and or. Have you ever checked what is and or? Because and means basically, so and means basically your, for example, let's say A and B. So here it will be checking if A is equals to B. If it is equals to B, no, my bad. It's not complete. It's not complete. So my bad. Okay. So here what is checking? It is checking if either a statement are true. But if both statement C, if that means C is greater than A and C is greater than B. If both of these statements are correct, then it will give a output 1, which is in computer terms is true. But if either of this condition fails, assume that this is true. Your C is greater than B, C is greater than A, but C is greater than A, but your C is not greater than B. Basically, this is false. So what this gives you 0. But in case of OR, what will happen? What will happen is that if either of statement are true, in this case we have to be corrected in both condition. Like in this case, we have to be corrected on either of one condition. For example, if C is greater than A, but not for the B, right? C is smaller than C is not bigger than B. So here it will always give you a 1 because A is C is smaller than A. C is smaller. C is bigger than A. So that's why either of statement, if either of one condition is true, it will give you a truth. But if either of, in case of and, if both statement are true, both condition are true, then it will give 1. Otherwise, it will give you 0. So for note is like this one, and for you don't have XOR gate and AND gate actually. We only have a NOT gate, and NOT gate is we will be using a ampersand. Actually this. And yeah, your query can be resolved in next session, in next few section which is coming, and through WhatsApp group. If you want to actually want more information, you can just DM me. Any other question?
If anyone has any other doubts, you can ask in the WhatsApp group. We will be opening the it for 1 hour. Now it's the time is up, so we are going to end the meeting. Thank you for joining in,
Thank you guys.
and we hope to see you all again.